All right, so this is an odd one. So I got a request to do a redesign of Mokap from the 3D era Mortal Kombat games. I can't even give you the specific game he was introduced in. I believe it was Deadly Alliance. This has to be by far the weirdest request for a redesign that I think I've gotten on this channel. Just Mokap is just such a weird choice, but I initially didn't even entertain it just because I don't even know how I'm supposed to draw that. Like looking at the Mokap design, it's a motion capture suit and a backwards hat. Like that's all that the design is. Now, I'm not gonna lie, Striker's Mortal Kombat Armageddon outfit is so bland I often confuse it with the Mokap one, but it's another conversation. But getting requested to do this, I couldn't, I don't know what in the world I was supposed to do for Mokap, so all I started doing was just studying motion capture designs, and the only thing that I could wrap my mind on was what I eventually ended up doing in this design, which is taking a guy that almost looks like Johnny Cage but not quite and putting a motion capture suit on him. Just updating it so he didn't just look like a bland motion capture outfit, though at least making it look slightly more interesting. So this was what I got for it. Alright, so starting out, I already wanted to give Mokap a bit of a simple base pose, but as I said earlier, I wanted the motion capture guy to be a lot like Johnny Cage, almost like his motion capture guy and his stunt double is one and the same, and I still wanted to have a bit of Johnny Cage's personality there. Obviously, he would have to be like the perfect choice for Johnny, right? So I added the middle finger onto the base pose, then getting into the design phase. I knew I wanted him to obviously look somewhat like Johnny. I didn't want him looking or resembling anything to the original Mokap, just cause it's just, to me, a bland guy in a regular old motion capture suit. To be honest, now that I say that out loud, I'm not sure how much that changed anyways, but I did want him to at least appear to look sort of like Johnny Cage without looking like Johnny Cage. So the one thing that I did to make that apparent was just give him a beard, which the idea of Johnny's motion capture guy and stunt double having a beard but looking just like Johnny is hilarious to me, almost like the scene out of Spaceballs. But I was also thinking about at least initially giving him the hat, but I figured that would cover his hair up, defeating the purpose of him looking like Johnny almost. So I just gave him the motion capture headband instead. That actually helps to make the character look a lot more goofy, even though he looks like what he's supposed to look like. Then I sort of changed things up from normal and I sort of designed the accessories first before going ahead and doing the rest of the outfit. It's a skin tight motion capture suit, so I figured, I pretty much know how the outfit itself is going to do. I just need to do an outline of his body. So blocking his accessories was sort of more important in the outset. And then I added arm wraps for absolutely no reason, by the way. But I just figured it looked cool. I'm not sure if it does or not, but it at least adds to the just blandness of him just being a dude in a motion capture suit. Then I also designed him in some fake Nikes, but I didn't know what to do to replace the check, so the star from Johnny Cage's hype meter, I just put that on the shoe instead. I just gave him a star instead of a Nike check. I don't know, it might be one of the first MK designs I think I've done so far, where I've designed sneakers on the character. I may be wrong on that, but I really don't remember doing that before. Anyways, I added the shoes, then went ahead and gave him the knee pads, the little, I don't even know what those things are called, but the little bands on the Mokap suit itself. Then added the little motion capture balls to the suit, and it was off to the races from there. I was able to start coloring. Now, other than the fact that I knew I wanted to make the suit blue, I had no idea how I was going to color his design. I went with multiple shades of blue just to enhance the suit a bit. And then I knew the accessory parts would just be orange just because it's a nice complement to blue in the first place. And because it's such a small amount of orange in the design, it pops a lot. So after doing the multiple shades of blue and adding the orange in certain spots, it was almost pretty much done from a coloring aspect. So then I started the shading. Not gonna lie, normally, as I've said time and time again, doing these, the shading is where the actual picture really starts to pop. It didn't seem that way at first for me drawing this here, and I think that's because I had so few shadows in this one. I made the mistake of choosing the light source from the right or somewhere towards the right side of the image. So where the shadows are sort of popping in at don't really I'm not gonna say they don't make sense, they just aren't adding to the actual picture all that much. So I couldn't really tell how the picture was coming together until I got to the highlights portion, which is usually the reverse of that. So I wasn't completely sold on the image as I was doing the shadows of it, I'm not gonna lie. Especially doing the shadows on the legs and whatnot, it really didn't seem like it was coming together all that well. But like I said, that was just because of the sheer lack of shadows. Once I started those highlights, that changed a lot, especially the small highlights on the suit itself. Adding light areas to the suit without making it completely bright to where it looks like he has a metallic mocap suit on, was glad I didn't make that mistake. So the picture actually started to look really decent from there. And then just adding a much brighter highlight, adding much lighter highlights onto stuff like the belt and the leather accessories that he had, really added to the image itself. And because it's so much brighter than the highlights I put on the actual mocap suit, it doesn't necessarily take away from it at all. So then finishing up, just doing the highlights on his face and on his shades, which I almost forgot to do. I had to remember to go back and add the highlights to his shades. And then finishing up with little details and highlights in on his hair. I just needed to go back and do some specular highlights to sort of cap off this design. And then at the very end, I also had to remember to go back and add small lights to the little motion capture balls on his suit. And from there, it was pretty much done. And we have Mokap. And I'm not gonna lie, this is a ridiculous design if I do say so myself. But it's a ridiculous Mortal Kombat character, which is why we've never seen him since Deadly Alliance for real. Or Armageddon. And like I said, I was really going for Johnny Cage's stunt double also being his motion capture guy, which is why the idea of Johnny Cage with the beard is sort of hilarious to me in this sense. But in any event, I'd appreciate you guys' feedback on this design and what you think of it. Whether or not you even think this would be worthy of like a return of Mokap if he was to ever return in Mortal Kombat, or if you saw a design like this in a future Mortal Kombat game. Also, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel if you like this video. It would really help out a lot. And you all have a good one, and I'm out.